Hi guys, I'm Susie, the Happy Mess Mom, and I'm here with Jarret Arthur, and she is the creator of M.A.M.A Self-Defense, Mothers Against Malicious Acts.
Yep.
And today my family and I are actually going on our first family trip overseas. So with 2 kids in tow, I just wanted to have Jarret share and show me some safety tips when we're traveling.
So this is a question that I get asked all of the time. What do you do when you're traveling, and what are the best ways to stay safe, particularly when you have kids? And the truth is, the list of potential safety tips that I can give you is pretty extensive. But if I just piled a whole bunch of stuff on you, I mean, let's face it, you don't have a whole lot of time to really prepare.
Right.
I mean, and you're packing and you're getting the boys ready and everything else.
Still am.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think really the key is to be able to share just a couple of really useful tips that are going to be applicable and you're actually going to be able to use, and that you'll feel confident using as well. So I think one of the biggest things before you even leave to travel is that you're doing your research, which I'm sure that you already have. But learning, if you're traveling to a country where they speak a different language, making sure that you learn the emergency words in that language that you may need, like police, no, help. Learn what the number is, the number equivalent of 911 in the country that you're going to. And that's something important that, depending on the age of your kids, if your kids are old enough now that they know 911 and they know how to call help, you should be educating them on how to do that in the country that you're traveling to, so that they understand also.
No, and I was also told to go to the U.S. Travel M.A.M.A, the website,
Yep.
and just to submit, or just, I guess they have like an application where you can just let them know that you'll be traveling to this country, from this state to this state. So
Yeah.
do that. So
Absolutely. And just do your research. Are there any scams that that are currently happening, or what are the types of crimes that are happening? And
I found so many on Bali. We're going to Bali, and on Pinterest, they have like bloggers have already shared just beware of scams in Bali. So I'm sure wherever you're going, there's going to be a Pinterest board about scams. So I've been reading about that. So
that's perfect. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, and you don't have to go crazy and drive yourself absolutely nuts with the research, but just, instead of like, yeah, we're going to Bali, and then hopping on a plane, just take a few minutes, just like what you've done, which is absolutely perfect, and just do some research. Another thing that I recommend is being able to make sure that you print out a couple of photos on actual photographs, because nobody has photographs anymore, right? We all have like the digital versions, but get some actual prints of some, kind of like wallet-sized photos of each of your kids, a couple of them, and write on the back their current height, hair color, eye color, so that, God forbid, if something does happen, you get separated from your kids, you have something to give to the authorities that they can right away take with them, so that they have an updated photo and all the stats right on the back of that photo. Because otherwise you're going to have to be showing photos of your kids on your phone, and so something that you can actually give the authorities. So that's an easy one, and you can just pack them right in your bag, and so that's something that I think is really, really important, especially these days.
But when you get to your destination, I wanted to know what your body, because we have your travel backpacks, your bags, you have your kids. We're not going to have a stroller there because just it's too much.
Yeah.
But how should your body? What should your body language be? Because we want to have a good time, but at the same time, we don't want to be a target.
Right.
So
this is where your mom multitasking skills comes into play. So you multitask all day long, you've got like a million things going on with all the kids, and really the most important thing is just to add 2 little pieces to your multitasking resume. The first is exactly what you're talking about. We call it walking tall, which is just being upright, having your eyes up, looking around you, shoulders back, hands out of your pockets and not folded in front of you, and really being aware of your surroundings. So, don't be so completely engrossed in taking photos that you're not actually paying attention to, to what's going on around you. And in addition to walking tall, also trying to limit as much as possible the amount of gear that you take with you when you're out and about, particularly the stuff that looks more expensive. And certainly property crimes are typically the thing that we see most happening to travelers, and so that is, essentially being robbed. And so the less gear you can put on the kids also, because we look at a lot of like bag snatching, right. And it makes it more dangerous if your kid has a backpack on and that is what somebody wants to snatch. Your kid's attached to it now. In airports in particular, but also just being out and about, if there's a roller bag that you have that's easy for your kids to have versus a backpack, I know it's probably a little bit, not as convenient because it's not attached to them, but what it means then, if somebody does grab that bag, at least they're just taking the bag, versus if your child is wrapped up in that backpack and it's easier for someone to, inadvertently take the child with them, as they grab the backpack. So, yeah.
I did not even think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So being aware of your surroundings and walking tall, those are two things when you get there that, we see really significantly decreases your chance of being targeted for crime. And so another thing that I teach is boundary setting. So in situations where you may feel like there is a potential threat or somebody is threatening you, knowing kind of the universal language of setting a boundary, we call it building a wall, is incredibly important. So I'm going to do it with you right now. So face forward. Step your feet a little bit wider than your shoulders. I don't think you can see what our feet are doing, but right now they're just lined up and they're a little bit wider than our shoulders. So you want to take a step forward with your non-dominant leg. How do you know what your non-dominant leg is? If you're right-handed, well, it's your left leg. If you're left-handed, it's your right leg. So take a step forward with your left leg. You're right-handed? Yep. Bring your hands up in front of your face. Your elbow should point towards the ground. Tuck your chin a little bit. And the most important part is that you have your palms facing forward, which is the universal symbol for what?
Back off.
Stop. Back up. Yeah, exactly. Right, and you're making eye contact. And even if you don't speak the language, continue to repeat in English or whatever your native language is, these short, concise action words. Stop, back up, leave now. And you're making eye contact the entire time. You want to try and avoid pointing or screaming. I'm just building a wall with my body and I'm making eye contact. You want to try one?
Yep.
Go.
Stop, back up, leave.
Perfect. It is so good. It's so good. It's a really deep, strong, powerful voice, and it's coming from your belly, which is fantastic.
And what should the kids be doing just in case I have to, Mama Bear has to get in this position?
Absolutely. So anytime that there's a threat, you are the shield, you're the protector between this threat and your kid. So you want to make sure that your children are behind you, but you do want to pay attention to what else is going on around you, right? So I don't want to be completely locked forward if my kids are behind me. And I also want to be able to take quick peeks behind to see if maybe somebody else is coming up behind as well. But typically you want your kids behind you. And this is something that you should be doing before you even leave, assuming your kids are old enough to be able to actually position themselves behind you, is to teach them the position that we want, which is I'm going to have you turn to the side. You want your kids to be able to get into a position where they have their hands on you so that you know where they are, and that they're not completely close to you, right? Because you want to be able to move and do what you need to do at the same time. So we teach kids to either put their hands right on the low back or hold on to mom's or dad's belt or a waistband. And it's a good way for them to be a good distance from you so that you can still move, but you feel them. And you're able to move them very easily if you actually reposition them if you're moving as well. So come up with a fun code word that you can say. It doesn't have to be like, get behind me. It can be a cool little code word that only you know, that you and your kids, that you practice with them, practice before you even leave. So anytime that you say, I don't know, Hulk, they know, okay, they're going to get right behind you and they're going to right away get into that position. And you can, it's a good game even for being at home for them to know also that if you need them to, they know they're going to get right behind you, arms are straight, grabbing onto your belt or your waistband. And then, yeah, you got that long bear build a wall that you're talking about that you did really, really well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else that I should know about? As far as like when we're out, just walking about, kids, I'm pretty sure my kids are going to go 2 different directions.
Yeah.
Just something, any tips to just keep them close to mom, dad?
I mean, hand-holding always works. I know that some people use, you know, like an actual device, a backpack that they, you know, their parents can hold on to. That is completely personal preference, and really, all of these safety tips, you have to pick and choose what works for you and what works for your family. I will say, and I think this is so important, that there isn't anything that is silly. So even if you're being pressured, you know, by somebody else, or maybe even your partner to, we don't need that, that's overkill. Yeah, exactly, like the leash. Look, if it makes you feel more confident, that in and of itself is a huge benefit, because when you feel more confident, you're going to exude more confidence, and that makes you safer. So look, if you want to use a leash, use the leash. There is no such thing as silly when it comes to safety, and you really can't overdo it unless you're driving yourself absolutely nuts and you're like totally freaked out and completely paranoid, which we don't want. We just want you to feel more confident by practicing some safety tips. So I think that's really important.
Thank you so much, Jarret. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.